Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Om Agyantimirandasya Gyananjana-shalakya Chakshurumritam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. 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 Hare Krishna. Today we are discussing from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 6, Chapter 3, and we'll be taking three verses 10, 11, and 12. Yamraj instructs his messengers. First of all, I would like to thank you all for giving a chance to serve Guru and Gauranga and giving a precious time to help me advance in my services. Thank you. Tamste veditam ichhamo yadi no manyase kshaman narayanetu abhihite ma bhair iti ayayur. Tan about them te from you veditam to know ichhama we wish yadi if na for us manyase you think kshamam suitable narayan narayan it thus abhihite being uttered ma do not bhay fear iti thus ayayu they arrived dutam very soon. Translation Prabhu by Srila Prabhupada. As soon as the sinful Ajamil uttered the name Narayan, these four beautiful men immediately arrived and reassured him, saying, Do not fear, do not fear. We wish to know about them from your lordship. If you think we are able to understand them, kindly describe who they are. Purport. The order carriers of Yamaraj, being very much aggrieved because of their defeat by the four Vishnu Dutas, wanted to bring them before Yamaraj and, if possible, punish them. Otherwise, they desired to commit suicide. Before pursuing either course, however, they wanted to know about the Vishnu Dutas from Yamaraj, who is also omniscient, means all-knowing. Text 11. Sri Badrayana Uach. Sri Badrayana Uach iti deva sa aprishta praja samyamano yama pritihi swa dutan pratyah smaram padambujam hare. Sri Shukdev Goswami said, thus being questioned, Lord Yamaraj, the supreme controller of the living entities, was very pleased with his order carriers because of hearing from them the holy names of Narayan. He remembered the lotus feet of the Lord and began to reply. Sri Yamaraj, the supreme controller of the living entities, in terms of their pious and impious activities, was very pleased with his servants because they had chanted the holy names of Narayan in his dominion. Yamraj has to deal with men who are all sinful and who can hardly understand Narayan. Consequently, when his order carriers uttered the name of Narayan, he was extremely pleased, for he is also a Vaishnava. Text 12. Yam Uvach Paro Madanyo Jagtastastu Shrasha Cha Otam Protam Patvad Yatra Vishwam Yad Amshato Sya Sthiti Janmanasha nasti utavad yasya vase cha loka. Yamraj said, "My dear servants, you have accepted me as a supreme, but factually I am not. Above me and above all the other demigods, including Indra and Chandra, is the one supreme master and controller. The partial manifestation of his personality are Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva, who are in charge of the creation, maintenance, and annihilation of this universe. He is like the two threads that form the length and breadth of a one cloth. The entire world is controlled by him, just as a bull is controlled by a rope in its nose. The order carriers of Yamraj suspected that there was a ruler even above Yamraj. To eradicate their doubts, Yamraj immediately replied, "Yes, there is one supreme controller above everything. Yamraj is in charge of some of the moving and living entities, namely the human beings, but the animals who also move are not under his control. Only human beings have consciousness of right and wrong, and among them, only those who perform sinful activities come under the control of Yamraj. Therefore, although Yamraj is a controller, he is only the departmental controller of a few living entities. There are other demigods who control many other departments, but above them all is one supreme controller, Krishna, Ishvara Parama, Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha. The supreme controller is Krishna. Others who control their own departments in the affair of the universe are insignificant in comparison to Krishna, the supreme controller. Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, 7th chapter, 7th verse, Mattah Paratram Nanyat Kinchid Asti Dhananjaya. My dear Dhananjaya Arjun, no one is superior to me. Therefore, Yamraj immediately cleared away the doubts of his assistants, the Yamdutas, by confirming that there is a supreme control above all others. Sri Madhvacharya explains that the words Otam Protam refers to the cause of all causes. The Supreme Lord is both vertical and horizontal in the cosmic manifestation. This is confirmed by the following verse from the Skand Puran. Yatha Kantha Patah Sutra Otah Protascha Sthiti Evam Vishnava Idam Vishwam Otam Protam Cha Samsitam. Like the two threads, horizontal and vertical, of which a quilt is manufactured, Lord Vishnu is situated as the vertical and horizontal cause of the cosmic manifestation. So, this is a very good verse. We'll be hearing about, I'll be covering all the three, but I'll be focusing more on 12th verse, which I feel is gone quite in detail. And in fact, I was listening to some lectures also, and this has been covered in great detail. And generally, when we are trying to express ourselves publicly, then we pay more attention. Like all this time, I was thinking that every living entity comes under the influence of Yamraj, but it's only human beings. As I talk to you, I am also realizing that, and that too under those people, those especially who are sinful, who are actually coming under the jurisdiction of Yamraj. So though it's he is all powerful, as we'll be discussing later today, I'll be discussing a little bit more about Yamraj. Uh, Only those people of all the living entities, only human beings, and that too only the sinful living entities come under the influence of Yamraj, not others. Like if in this room there's only one sinful person, will be taken care of by Yamraj, but everybody else need not worry about Yamraj. But of course, there are Krishna's pastimes; they can come under various illusions, but that's another pastime altogether. So generally, we see that I'll keep come some comparisons so that we understand the greatness of Yamraj. The scenario is that his people, who's his subordinates, have just now come. He had asked them to just go and collect the sinful soul of a person called Ajamil, and all these messengers go and drag him, and suddenly they are told, "No, you cannot do this." Basically, if you look at it, they were doing their duty. which was assigned to them, and they were right on that. And suddenly they find, just when they were about to perform their duty, four, because they were four, and four of Vishnu Dutas come and then stated that you cannot do that. And not only this, to rub it in further, they are saying, you do not worry, we'll take care of them. So it was a sheer humiliation for them, because it had never happened to them. And generally, if you have never faced some sequence and suddenly somebody comes and slaps you, it's like a literal slap to them. They all got very upset. And in Bhagavatam, it is mentioned, if you see pictures also, these Yamdutas, they're also very fierce looking creatures, because they are dealing with sinful people, so they are very harsh, very rough, and very tough people. And suddenly they are told by somebody who doesn't look like them, and then they are not only chastised, they are told, you cannot do this. And not only this, the person whose soul they were trying to take, Ajamil is being assured by this Vishnu Dutas, okay, you need not worry about them. So that was like double insult for them. So they immediately came back. They knew that they cannot do anything further, they are helpless, so they came back, and now they are complaining in front of Yamraj. And they are so upset, all four of them, they wanted to commit suicide. Now, how many of us would ever think that we are told something by our master or by our superior to do something, and since I cannot do this, I would like to commit suicide? But at the same time, they are so controlled that they thought that, okay, before we think in those lines, let us check with him, so that whatever happens, at least he is aware. So that way, they were very loyal to Yamraj also. In fact, they were knowing what their duties, or in Hindi, what we would call kartavya. So they knew that. So they are coming and asking. And Yamraj, so this is about Yamdutas, that even they knew that they have been humiliated, and they've been told not to interfere. They're very upset. They are coming back and reporting the matters, and sincerely putting their queries. And if they know that, they are saying that either you tell us why this happened, and if we are right, go and please punish them. So they are so aggrieved. There you'll realize that, like an innocent child who comes to parent, they are coming like that. So that also indicates that how much trust is existing between Yamraj and Yamdut. So in this scenario, they were complaining to him. And now let's focus on Yamraj. Yamraj, an ordinary person, when you tell as your juniors, you just go and do this, and they say we could not do this. First of all, you tend to get upset, and on the top of it, they are complaining that somebody else insulted us. So in this case, this person, generally a normal person, would get very furious and will vow revenge. In fact, we have seen in sometime in Devi gods also, they do get upset. Like there's a pastime of this Govardhan Leela pastime, in which Indra got upset because he realized that human beings are not offering him prayers anymore. So he got upset at that. So even demigod get upset. But here Yamraj, instead of getting upset, and he's not pretending anything, he's actually happy. Wow, it's a very great thing. Now my dutas are actually uttering the name of Narayan or Krishna. That's a very good thing, because when you are dealing with sinful people, or let's say a person who's driving a bus, he's most of the time he's trying to focus on signals, and who's the passenger who's coming in, who's getting down. If there is a person who is having some trouble in walking, then he has to lower the floor and lower the bus. They has to focus on so many things. So same way, Yamaraj is taking in charge of taking care of all the sinful entities. So in that, he just, the minute he hears about this name of Narayan, he is very happy. This is also indicating like what sort of consciousness he has. And now, as we see in this 11th verse, he is saying, he's happily explaining. He's not upset, he's not humiliated, he's not humbled, anything. He's very happy. Okay, these are asking, because it's very rare for Yamraj to hear Vishnu's name or Krishna's name or Narayan's name from anybody else. So it's a very rare opportunity. And Yamraj is not an ordinary person. He's son of sun god himself. In fact, my daughter keeps on watching these programs on Krishna. So it's like Yamuna is Yamraj's sister, and Yamuna is favorite river of Krishna. There are in fact so many part. In fact, this prayer also, Yamuna Tira Vanchari. So Yamuna is like, and he's Yamuna's brother. So I'll be discussing further on that. So when they approached Yamraj, then Yamraj was not only very happy, he exhaustively explained Bhagavad Dharma or the religious principles of devotional service. Yamraj thus satisfied Yamdutas. The important thing is that when a person who's humiliated or feels humiliated comes to you and is talking to you, many times we try to tell that person logically or whatever way, but it's very difficult for us to convince that person or to pacify that person so that person actually becomes calm down or actually becomes happy. And this is what Yamraj achieved. So you can understand how wonderfully he is doing things. So who were very disappointed, so disappointed person, it's very difficult. I can explain somebody who's very disappointed why it should not be done or why it did not happen, but most of us would think, oh, no, you are talking like a doctor who's performing postmortem. The patient is already dead. What's the point? Most of us will think like that. But not only this, Yamraj did very carefully. At the same time, these Yamdutas were also pacified. And the Yamdutas were doing their duty when they were obstructed by Vishnu Dutas, who are all pure devotees of the Lord. Many times, we'll come across situation where we are doing something what we thought was the right thing to do, and suddenly some senior devotee comes and tells, no, you don't do this. Actually, once I was there was one college program in India. There's a place called Lonere, so we were going there, and there was a very senior brahmachari who was coming with us. So we were going in bus, and bus traveling took around 3 hours one way. So I knew that we were both planning to chant, but he started talking to me. I was very happy. Of course, he's talking to me, and brahmachari talking. So basically, some senior person talking to you, you feel very happy. But then I casually asked Prabhu, but don't you think I am disturbing you because this is your chanting time and you are talking to me? Because there is a way different level between you and me. You are way ahead and you have important things to do. He said, well, Krishna has sent you to me, so I think I am talking to a devotee. That's a bigger thing. So suddenly, this is one thing which it's difficult for non-devotees to understand why this dharma goes like this. Many people in India, especially, they have many doubts why Krishna behaved in a particular manner in a Mahabharata, because there are many higher principles that come into picture. So there, I was reminded of that. So something similar happened here, that Yamdutas are being feeling aggrieved, and at the same time, Yamraj is specifying them that what is happening is actually the right thing. So here we are seeing the qualities of a Vaishnava. The top quality that comes here, and that is one of the most important qualities, is humility in a Vaishnava. So powerful people generally develop ego, but Yamraj, instead of feeling the humiliation, pacified and guided his subordinates. It's a very difficult thing, but he's not pretending anything, it's doing all naturally. And who's Yamraj? He's not an ordinary person. He's one of the 12 Mahajans who know the real religious principles. There's a verse which will be coming. There are two verses, in fact, that will be coming in the chapter later on. So they say, like, Swambhur Narada, Shambhu Kumara Kapila Manu, Prahlado Janako Bhishmo, Balir Vyas Viryam, Dodashate Vijanimo, Dharma Bhagavatam Bhata, Guhyam Vishuddham Durbodham, Ya Gatamrita Vishute. Lord Brahma, Bhagwan Narad, Lord Shiv, the four Kumars, Lord Kapil, the son of Devahuti, Swambhu Manu, Prahlad Maharaj, Janak Maharaj, grandfather Bhishma or Bhishma Pitama, Bali Maharaj, grandson of Prahlad Maharaj, Shukdev Goswami, and I myself know the real religious principle. My dear servants, this transcendental religious principle, which is known as Bhagavad Dharma, or surrender unto the Supreme Lord and love for Him, is uncontaminated by material modes of nature. It is very confidential and difficult for ordinary human beings to understand. But if by chance one fortunately understands it, he is immediately liberated, and thus he returns home back to Godhead. So Yamraj has expertly guided his followers, as well as evident that they wanted to know about Vishnu Dutas from Yamraj, who's also omniscient. Now, this word omniscient is not associated with ordinary person. Omniscient is a person who knows everything. Generally, this is the context we use only for Krishna. But in this particular affairs, now then you will, one would like to think that, okay, so are we saying comparing between Yamaraj and Krishna? We are not, but in his domain is with human beings, sinful human beings. So whatever is happening there, he knows each and everything. That is omniscient in this context. So, when questioned by the subordinates, ordinary people tend to get offended, but Lord Yamaraj, the supreme controller of living entities, was very pleased with his order carriers because of hearing from them the holy name of Narayan. He remembered the lotus feet of the Lord. He saw it as a blessing to remember Krishna. So, in every situation, a devotee sees opportunity, like whatever happens, it's good or bad. If it is good happening, okay, this is Krishna. If it is bad happening, okay, mentality of a devotee is to think, okay, why is this happening? Okay, so is Krishna trying to tell me something? Okay, this person is insulting me. Why is this person insulting me? Is what is Krishna trying to tell me? This is how a devotee would understand. So Yamraj is also honest because he says, my dear servants, you have accepted me as supreme, but factually I am not. How many of us, when we are being felicitated, how many of us actually say, no, 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 I'm not the person who you should be actually giving this honors? Basically it is Krishna. We generally don't think like that, but here Yamraj is saying that, because generally what happens, there are two situations where people tend to make mistakes: when they are on a high or when they are in a low. If somebody has made us very happy or praising us, that time we tend to forget Krishna, or somebody has insulted us, that time. These are the two high points or low points where our mentality actually comes to picture. So the verse says, Otam Protam Patvad Yatra Vishwam. This cosmic manifestation is just like woven threads this side and that side. If you look at any cloth like this, you'll realize that from a distance it looks like cloth, but if you watch carefully, you realize that there are threads which are going horizontal and vertically. So this is what this verse is talking about. Otam Protam. Both sides there are threads, just as cloth there are two sides besides length and width. Both sides there are threads. Similarly, the whole cosmic manifestation, lengthwise and widthwise, the energy of the Supreme Master is working. Now, in this context, we could also say one more thing. Uh, when we look, I'm looking at this room, I see there in front of me, there's a floor and there are chairs, there's a wall, there's a painting, there's a door. I see so many things. But as we see closer and closer, we start seeing it starts looking different. It starts looking smaller and smaller. Like if I'm looking at this mic, it is looking it okay. From a distance looks like a mic, but when I go closer, I find there's a wire mesh which is black in color, and then there's a orange color thing which is soft part comparing. So basically, when I'm going closer and closer, start seeing this. So same way, when we are looking from a distance, we see different planets, we see moon, we see sun, we see many other stars. But as we start going closer and closer, when we start going very close, we start seeing Krishna everywhere. That's the actual thing which is out there, but it's our distance which is making us see things differently. So in the Bhagavad Gita, it is also said, Sutre Mani Gana Eva. Just like in one thread, there are beads of pearls woven, so Krishna or the Absolute Truth is just like the thread, and everything, all planets or all globes, all universes, they are woven in a thread, and that thread is Krishna. So as we see everywhere, we start seeing Krishna everywhere. So there's another point is that if we are looking at a garland, or like if you are wearing kantimala, all these beads are resting on the thread, and in this context, that thread is Krishna, in which everything else is holding. Similarly, there is another statement in Bhagavad Gita, Aham sarvam idam tatam jagat avyakta murtina. I am spread by my energy, which is taken as impersonal Brahman. Aham sarvam idam tatam. Tatam means spread. Whatever we are seeing, that is spreading of the energy of the Supreme Lord. There are waves of heat and light, as you know, but the original source of the wave of light is coming from Vrindavan, Golok Vrindavan. So that wave is spreading all over, and that is confirmed in the Vedic literature. Sarvam khalva idam Brahma. Ishwasyam idam sarvam. His energy spread everywhere. Parasya Brahma Shakti Sarvedam Akhilam Jagata. This is impersonal. The energy which is emanating from Supreme Person, that is impersonal Brahma. Like taking example of Sun God. Sun God is different and sun rays are different. So this effulgence which we are seeing is impersonal Brahman. Therefore, Yamraj says that Otam Protam Patvad Yatra Vishwam. Vishwam, what is this Vishwam? It is a whole cosmic manifestation. There are living entities and there are inert matters. Just like we are sitting here, so we are living entities, and this building is inert matter. So combined together, we have created this city or this home, this creation of two energies, matter and living force. But both of them are the energies of Supreme Lord. The example is given here just like cloth. There are two sets of two kinds of thread, one lengthwise and widthwise. Similarly, these two energies, material energy and the spiritual energy, are working the whole creation. Otam Protam Patvad Yatra Vishwam. Everything in this material world, these three things are visible. Anything is produced, anything we take, it is produced at a certain time, then it is maintained for a certain time, and then it becomes annihilated again. Or you would say that it takes birth, it lives, and then it dies. The director and controller of creation, production is Brahma, and the director of maintenance is Vishnu, and the annihilator is Lord Shiv. Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh. Just as we are part and parcel of Krishna, similarly, the control of material affairs, these directors or the demigods are also part and parcel. They are not absolute. Yad Amshata. You can become Brahma if you are qualified. You can be posted as Brahma, you can be posted as Shiv, but you cannot be posted as Vishnu. But you can derive power from Vishnu, and that is called Shaktavesh Avatar, the dedicated power. Now, here, some of us will recollect there's a pastime once the Rishi Munis were discussing who's the greatest because about the Trinity of God. There's always a discussion going on, even in the learned people's mind. Who's the greatest? It's Brahma, Vishnu, or Mahesha. So that time, Bhrigu Muni said, "Okay, as you are representative, I'll go and check." So he went. Lord Brahma was in his court, and there were people who are entertaining him, and suddenly Narad Muni, Bhrigu Muni comes, and then he just simply looks and he does not even wish and starts leaving. And Lord Brahma got very upset, but he didn't say anything. He walked away. And then Bhrigu Muni went to Kailash Parvat, and Lord Shiva was with Parvati. And Lord Shiva came, "Oh, okay, my brother, my brother." He came to hug him, and then he simply said, "No, please don't come. You are smeared in ash, you have snakes, you are living with such tamasic people. I don't want to do anything with you." And Lord Shiv got very angry. My brother is insulting me. And he suddenly got very angry and he just started to curse. And suddenly Parvati, his wife, said, don't do this. Please don't get upset. Please don't do this offense. So she was pacified. Now then he went to meet Vishnu, and Bhrigu Muni goes, and without saying and doing anything. Firstly, you see that first time he just behaved. He did not say anything. In second place, he insulted. And third time, he straight away goes and he straight away kicks Lord Vishnu in his chest. And what happens then? Lord Vishnu immediately gets up. "Oh, I'm very sorry. I could not pay you sufficient respect. It's my mistake. But please tell me, have I hurt you? Because my chest is so hard. Your lotus feet might have got hurt." And then after that, Bhrigu Muni left. That's the pastime. And in this pastime, Bhrigu Muni came and finally declared that Vishnu is the greatest. Now, one may wonder why Vishnu is greatest. Would somebody like to answer that? Why Vishnu is the greatest of the three? Yes, bro.
He's in charge of modern goodness, and he didn't took any offense. So he was not affected by modern goodness, or what to speak of modern passion and ignorance. So he was totally controlled, and he uh, even asked Bhikkhu Muni, did it hurt your leg? My chest is so hard. So he was even like taking care of Bhikkhu Muni. So it,
Okay, Prabhu. So that means that, let's say Tima Prabhu, he is in mode of goodness.
no,
And no, I'm saying he's in mode of goodness, for example, and one of us goes and slaps him, and he doesn't get angry. He is controlled, and he says, "Oh, I'm sorry, my face, did it hurt your hand?" So does that make him God?
no, he's in control of
No, he is also in control. He has not reacted. In fact, on the other hand, he is apologetic that might be your hand got hurt.
he's in control of mother goodness. He is a teacher of mother goodness.
That's what we are thinking. That's what even rishis and munis were doubting, that he is in mode of goodness. They knew that because rishi, you can't become rishi just like that. And they were discussing, Bhrigu Muni, we can't even go from here. Let's say if I have to go from here to let's say Estonia, I can't even go there. Somebody has to carry me there. But Bhrigu Muni was just going, okay, Brahmalok and then Kailash Parvat and then Vishnu Lok, just like that. So he was not an ordinary person. That's why he could kick. Who can we can't even move our fingers if Krishna doesn't want. Would like to say something? Why Vishnu is God? I'm sorry, I did not mean to actually make it as like a witty session, but yesterday I was listening to a lecture. Even I had this doubt, and I was also thinking the same thing what you were thinking. And there it was mentioned that that's exactly what it is, that you cannot be posted as Vishnu. That's what Srila Prabhupada is explaining, that Vishnu is residing everywhere. He was residing in Bhrigu Muni's heart also. So he knew what is the intention of Bhrigu Muni. And Vishnu is not an ordinary person. If he feels that this, you've seen that Krishna wants his devotees to be like 24 karat gold, not a single impurity. And he finds that that's why many of us, we are facing lots of problems. That's a Krishna way of telling us. So it's not that Krishna is always goody goody all the time. When he sees that there is some lesson to be given, he gives. But that time he knew that Bhrigu Muni is not coming to insult him, but he is trying to establish something to other rishis. So basically, he's setting some standards. So that's why he knew all that. And if he knew that Bhrigu Muni is actually just doing, was under the control of ego, then he would have punished him also, because he doesn't want his devotees to be having anything. But he knew that devotee has come with a mission, and to accomplish that mission, he took that role. The same way, Krishna doesn't bow in front of anybody. He does not have any need to, but in front of devotees, he helps. In Krishna's pastime in Mahabharata, he became Arjun's charioteer. And when you are in war and you are shooting arrows left, right, and center everywhere, then you don't have time to go left, right. You just kick from your left hand. Okay, left kick. Okay, that means left side, right? That's why it's if you think about it, then we actually appreciate the greatness of Krishna. So that is actually the reason that Vishnu understands everything. That's why Shri Prabhupada is saying that if you perform all the austerities, maybe you can achieve the post of Brahma and maybe even Shiv, but you cannot achieve the post of Vishnu, because that's where everything comes from. So Yamraj says that Yad Amshata Asya. Asya means Brahma, Vishnu, and Maheshwar. So they are different directors of three departments. And Nasi Otavad Yasya Vashe Chaloka. Nasi Otavad, just like the bulls, there is a rope within their nose, and the cartman simply moves his finger with that rope, and the bull turns this way, that way, goes straight, stops. Nasti Otavad. Yeah, many of us who have seen bulls that are dragging the bullock cart, they have one ring on their nose, between this nose bridge. Some women might also do that, but what is that thing called? That is called nath. And when you are putting that rope through that, and the person who is controlling that is called nath, and that's why one of the names of Krishna is Nath. Like a devotee always says, okay, let me be your servant, let me be the bull, and you be my Nath. You control me, because if you give me a situation, I'll be making errors, I'll be making mistakes, and that's why I'm here in this body and making all these mistakes, committing all these offenses. But if you are controlling me, then I know that whatever you do, whether you want me to do good things or bad things, I'm under your control. Then I know that there won't be any karmic reaction, there won't be anything, because I'm following you. And that is dovetailing our conscience with that of Krishna. Similarly, we are also Nasi Otavad Yasya Vachesa Loka. Loka means all these universes, planets, or the living entities. They are simply moving under the indication by the Supreme Lord. So go this way, we have to go this way. He says this way, you have to go this way. Not directly, but as He guides. He has nothing to do under His direction. Na tasya karyam karanam cha vidyate. Nothing can do independently, and His direction is so perfect that it is admitted in the Vedas. Parasya Shaktir Vividhava Shruyate Swabhavik Jana Balakriyascha. His direction is so perfect that and the energy by which he is working is so perfect that it looks automatically being done. The so-called scientists with poor fund of knowledge, they are giving importance to energy by saying these things are appearing automatically, but they do not inquire behind the energy. There is energetic. So there's a difference between energy and the energetic. That is explained in Bhagavad Gita. Maya Dhakshen Prakriti. The materialistic scientists are giving importance to the movements of this material nature. Vairanga Shakti. The material nature is going on, but there must be one Shaktiman whose possession of this, who's possessing this energy. Matta Smritir Jnanam Apohanam Cha Sarvasya Chaham Hridhi Sannivishto. The Lord is Paramatma. He's sitting in everyone's heart, and as you wanted to do, so He gives. I wanted to do such and such. He gives me intelligence. He's so merciful. If you want to be as powerful as tiger, if you want to be as predominant businessman, he gives ye yathaman propadyante. He gives opportunity. And he gives also chance to his devotees to go back to home, back to Godhead. He's giving chance to everyone. If you want to remain here, yanti bhuteya bhutani. If you want to remain in this material world and do hard work for sense gratification, that chance will be given to you. But if you want to go back to home, back to Godhead, that chances also will be given to you. When they are entangled in these material activities, they accuse Krishna. Why God has created somebody this, somebody that? No, God has not created. We have created. We wanted to become like this, so Krishna has given us this chance. All right, you become this. So it is my desire. He's called Kalpatru, desire tree. Therefore, we have to change our desire to purify our desire. That is Krishna consciousness. Now, once Shilpopad was asked, he was taking a session in Gorakhpur in 1971 in India. And in India, like here, people generally don't ask that many questions. But in India, everybody asks. And if you ask anybody, you know about Krishna, he says, you don't have to tell me. I'm born and brought up in that environment only. So all of us are like, quite challenging. So one person asked, "No, but Prabhupada, why do you say that why we are facing this activities? Why are we getting into so many things? Why is Krishna asking us to do these bad things?" So then Srila Prabhupada said that it's not like that. You want, that's why you are doing this. And everything is happening because you wanted it, consciously or subconsciously. In fact, he gave example of his jails. Why are jails in the first place anywhere in the world you go? You'll find the prisons. Why are they there? In fact, Krishna himself was born in a prison. Now, authorities, they don't want us to do bad things, but still they're constructing jails and they are paying staff to take care of that, feeding all the prisoners out there. You could ask, why is government making jails? But they know that people are not supposed to behave in a bad manner. But if they have in bad manner, it's a basically correction center for them. So same way, Krishna is putting us in this correction center or this big jail called Earth, so that we are corrected of our faults and go back to Godhead. So just like this preaching is going in the Western countries all over the world, is the desire of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu desired, that's why it's happening. It's not that somebody just thought like that. That is already planned by him. So we are simply a little helping, that's all. So our devotional service means that whatever Krishna or God desires, we should try to cooperate with him. That is our perfection. You cannot do anything, he is doing everything. But if you simply cooperate with your desire, that is called devotional service. Whatever we are doing, if we are doing thinking that we are the doer, we are catching sinful reactions. But if we allow everything to be taken control by Krishna, then whatever we are doing, we are just perfecting our lives. Like a small child is in our care, we take care of that child. So child is just enjoying. If you look at a child's life, it's very happy. Of course, child has its own sets of complication and challenges, but child does not have to take care of everything, because the child knows that if I have to go somewhere, my parents will take care. If I have to change clothes, parents will take care. In India, things are much simple, but here, almost every day, it's a habit. You have to watch the temperature if you are going out, because you don't know how much temperature will fluctuate. Like today, it is slightly warmer day. 2 days back, it was shivering cold. It was around sub-zero temperatures. So child does not have to worry whether I have to wear halari in Finland, or I have to just wear just nothing and just walk away if I'm in Vrindavan in a hot summer day. The child doesn't have to bother, because parent is taking care. Same way Krishna is taking care. That is what is the consciousness. So there is no question of becoming desireless. That is not possible. Just like a child, you cannot forcibly stop him his activities. But if he's naughty, then you have to train him for being educated. And when he's educated, he comes out a very nice scholar. Like all the people who are coming out here, were they born like this? That on a particular date, like on today's date, 29th of October, you will be in the temple? No. But it is an acquired trait. So because when we started trusting Krishna, when we started following Krishna's will, we have started advancing. So that is similarly people who have become nationalized. If proper chance is given to them, they will come out as very nice devotees. That is the technology of spiritual science. So our Krishna consciousness movement is meant for that purpose, that people are desiring in so many ways for sense gratification. That desire has to be purified and employed in the matter of gratifying the senses of Krishna. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna. So any questions, any comments, please feel free to ask. Yes, Prabhu.
No question. No question.
Any doubts?
I think you made it very simple.
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Is there any way to get aligned with Krishna's will without struggle, or should we always learn from the mistakes? Always.
Would like to elaborate your question. I understood your question, but for everybody else, would you like to simplify your question, or you want to answer just like that? I don't mind.
You can. You can generally talk about how we can get aligned with Krishna's will.
First of all, there's a thought process when we are looking at any situation. Like the pastime, there was I don't know where I read this pastime, but long back, there's a saint who was living in a place, and a nearby place he saw one prostitute who was also living there. And this saint, and it was a coincidence that both of them left their body at the same time. And when both of them were facing that moment of justice, that prostitute was given higher position and this saint was given lower position. And then this person was quite surprised that why am I was a saint, why am I given lower position, why she is given higher position. So he said that, well, though she was forced by circumstance to become prostitute, but always she was looking at you and she was feeling that how sinful I am. I wish I could be like the saint. So she was always thinking about your good qualities. She was always thinking about that you are thinking about God. So she was always thinking about God. So even though she was in a position which was not to her liking, she achieved that position. But on the other hand, you are given such a nice position, but still you are always focusing what the prostitute is doing. Your mind was going in those. Instead of thinking about God, you are thinking about prostitute, and that's why you are given this position. So, in fact, it is said that there are some of us are Indian in this room, and some of are non-Indians in this room. It is said that for the same thing, a Western people person will not be giving karmic reaction, but Indians will be severely punished. Why? Because as Indians, the very fact we were born as Indians, Krishna had higher plans for us. And if you are not following those higher plans and we are getting materially entangled, so our reactions are severe. You realize that if any one of us makes any mistake, you'll see us getting severe punishments. But in your case, Krishna is very tolerant. He'll simply say, okay, yes, okay, no problems. At least they are trying. But in your case, you were knowing, but still you made this mistake. So you will be punished faster. So same way, but that is another aspect. So your question was that why are we getting into this situation? The thing is that it's our perception. Like if we there's a saying in Hindi like man ke hare hare man ke jeete jeet. Like if you think you are defeated, you are defeated. But if you are thinking you are winning, you are winning. So same way, if you are thinking that you are serving Krishna, you are serving Krishna. Whatever you are doing, if you are thinking consciously only thinking about Krishna, why is seen as perfect devotee? There are many questions you'll find. You'll realize that okay, he was proud of his beauty, but you'll also realize that okay, he was killing Karn. You can come out with many questions. As a typical Indian, you would ask many questions about Arjun himself. But the fact of thing remains that he was listening to Bhagavad Gita. I have spent so many years thinking, talking, and discussing about Bhagavad Gita. But how am I transformed? Arjun not only listened, he was totally shocked, he was totally grieving because he was a kind hearted person. He was very sad, he was very upset at the prospect, though he was insulted for so many years, Agyatwas, and he had to live like a eunuch in the last year of his Agyatwas. And he went through so many humiliations, but still, he was feeling sorry that there is a Bhishma Pitama, there is my Guru Dronacharya, there is a Kripacharya, there are so many elders, even Duryodhan, he's my brother, and why I have to fight them? He was compassionate. That was a true devotee. But even Krishna got upset. If you realize that there's a pastime where Krishna had told that, okay, if you want to divide between me and my Narayani Sena, you decide. And Duryodhan said, okay, I like Narayani Sena. And Arjun said, I just want you. But he said that on whose side I come in Kurukshetra war of Mahabharata, I'll not be taking a single weapon. I'll not be fighting. I'll just be there. And Arjun's consciousness is that, okay, you are there. That's all. We don't want. Even if you lose, even if we are insulted, we die, whatever. But I would just want to be with you. That's the consciousness of a devotee. And even though when the war was about to start in Mahabharata, it is mentioned that Bhagavad Gita, how long do you think this Bhagavad Gita must have taken place? We can take many days, many months, try to even lifetimes to understand Bhagavad Gita. But it did not take more than 40-45 minutes or so of as our time. Within those short minutes, Arjun not only understood, heard, changed, he was transformed. And immediately last, because Krishna doesn't want us to do because Krishna is telling us, he wants us to take our conscious decision, because that's what free will is all about. And that's where Yamraj comes into picture. Why he's dealing only with human beings? Because human beings have that free will. You are given this, what to do with this option. In that option is the situation comes when we are about to decide. And Arjun decided that I'll follow what Krishna is going to do. And Krishna told him that I have given you entire knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. Now I leave it up to you. Krishna is so merciful. He says, now I leave it up to you what you want to choose and decide. There's a path of glory and there's a path of inglory. Now, which path you take, dharma or adharma, whatever you want to follow, that's your choice. I have just given you the knowledge. Krishna is not saying, and he was not going to do anything unless Arjun decides. And then Arjun, when he was given the choice, he immediately fell on Krishna's feet. He said, now your wish is what I will do. Like I heard somewhere when Jesus Christ was in crucified, the last thing he uttered was that, oh Lord, let thy will be done, not mine. So basically, when we are leaving that option to Krishna, okay, Krishna, you decide. I don't want to. I'm in this situation. I can't figure out what to do. You only do it. And that is the time we are being transformed. So whatever we are doing, we are not getting any karmic reaction because it is Krishna who's deciding. We have trusted Krishna. So all we have to do is just trust Krishna. And whatever we do, if we are thinking of Krishna, we are not facing any problem. Even if we feel seemingly we are facing problem, when you know, okay, Krishna wants me to do this. Krishna wants us to learn something. That is Krishna consciousness. And I would say that is the perfection of life. Does it answer your question, Prabhu?
Yes.
Yes, Prabhu.
Can you little bit say more about why we are, we have that false ego and false sense of ourselves. So how we can get this like more away?
Prabhu, as we were talking about that example of prostitute and saint, I would just simply say this. I live nearby. Where do you live, Prabhu? Matikula. And how about you, Prabhu? See, one is coming from Lepawar, one is coming from Espoo, Matikula. And I'll say I come from Peliamaki, which is very nearby. But when all three of us are coming here, we are saying, oh, you three are so fortunate. You are living in temple itself. Isn't it? And depending on our karma, we are in different situation altogether. So if you look at it, how we are, it is coming out of situation. So this is a simple example. Another example I want to give, we were discussing about the pastime of Bhrigu Muni. Now, we are close. I would say that you three are fortunate because you are living very close to the deity itself. You, whenever you want, you can just come from hop, skip, and jump, as they say in English. Kids talk hop, skip, and jump. You come here and you are in front of deities, right? And deities, you can see Krishna directly. It's very difficult for us to go and see out when if I see some bird flying, to see God in that bird, especially if that bird is dropping that shit on my head. It's very difficult for me to see Krishna out there. But in your case, you can just simply see Krishna. So what to talk about Lakshmi Devi, who is residing with Narayan? When Bhrigu Muni hit Narayan on his chest, we understood what Vishnu did or Narayan did. But Lakshmi Devi got very angry that for no rhyme or reason, this person, ordinary human being, comes and insults my husband. She immediately cursed him that, okay, you are a Brahmin, so I curse that none of the Brahmins will ever be rich. They'll always be facing miseries because of that. Now, we are talking about other things. What about whether Lakshmi Devi does this? And there are pastimes, you'll realize, and there are many pastimes in Krishna's life only. There are many people who are living with Krishna, but still they were not realizing Krishna. Even in fact, even in the case of Mahabharata, Bhagavad Gita, our entire movement is based on that. Even when Mahabharata was about to start, how many people knew Krishna is the God himself? Despite he has shown his this Virat Roop to Duryodhan, everybody in this Kuru Sabha. That Virat Roop, which he showed to Arjun also, where Arjun said, no, I don't know, I'm getting scared. But he showed to everybody when he went there as a messenger of peace or Shanti Doot. When he went to the palace of Dhritarashtra, he simply said, I have come here. Actually, Krishna wanted this war to happen, that's why it happened. But Dhritarashtra were so sinful that they did not even understand that. Yudhishthir, despite having insulted his wife, being insulted, his everything be taken away, everything, mother living in a bad situation, and rightfully what was there was not even given. He was saying, even if you just give me 5 villages to rule, that was the offer which he sent Krishna with. You take everything else, just give us 5 villages to rule because we are Kshatri, that's our dharma. We want to follow our dharma. Even that was denied to them. And not only this, Duryodhan was so crooked, he wanted to arrest Krishna, and that's the time then Krishna said, what sort of foolishness is this? He showed his Virat Roop. Everybody in that room saw, but how many people actually knew or believed that he is Krishna? They still did not believe. Not only this, when he was trying to pacify Arjun, despite being shown that he is Krishna is God, he is everything. He could see his own death, but still, Duryodhana refused to see that. That's why they say that Dhritarashtra was blind, physically as well as spiritually. But Duryodhan, he had eyes, but still he was blind because spiritually he had no eyes. And that's why all this thing happened. And another situation is that it's also Krishna's will. I was hearing about this pastime of Brahma. Krishna is always testing his devotees also. Indra, he made mistake in Govardhan Leela that Indra ended up offending and he was trying to drown Vrindavan. And that's why Govardhan Leela came into being. And then Brahma once, he himself was requesting Narayan or Vishnu to take a birth in earth so that he can take care of all the sinful people. But when he came, then he suddenly thought, how can a child do all these activities? And then he stole away these kids, Gopals, all the Gopas, and then these cows. And then Krishna had to correct him that what are you talking about? Just because you're in a position, that doesn't mean you know everything. There are many beyond this. And he showed him many of the Brahmas which are controlling other parts of the universe, much more powerful Brahmas. So that Krishna sometimes plays tricks also with us, just to be with us. But as long as we are dovetailing our everything with Krishna, Krishna is testing all the time because Krishna likes to play, and all our tendencies come from Krishna only. He has 64 qualities. We don't have those many. But whatever we think, good or bad, whatever, Krishna has done that. That's why those intense propensities are there within us. So that's how. So basically, it's Krishna's will. But if we are believing, okay, what is Krishna's will is my will. Krishna, I'm in your hands. I'm your puppet. You decide, or you be the my nath, and you take control of my nath. So that's about it. That's actually there's a book also. It's I think there's available in a temple also. Simple for simple. If you are simple, then Krishna is very simple. If you try to be crooked, then Krishna takes away everything. You see, even in Hiranyakashipu's case, he was trying to become immortal by pleasing Brahma. Then Lord Nrsimhadev came and then killed him. Ravan, he was also trying to become everything. He was also being killed. Kumbhakarna wanted to become as powerful as Ravan, and they wanted to rule the entire world. And then the Saraswati Devi came on his tongue. When he was, okay, what do you want? He said Indrasan. Instead of Indrasan, he said Nidrasan, and that's why he went to sleep. So the more we crooked we are, the more crooked Krishna plays with us, because even that tendency to be crooked comes from Krishna only. Krishna knows. He's like a chess player. He's expert in that, and we are just trying to learn to move the pieces. So if we are just saying, okay, Krishna, you only do, he'll work miracles through us. Like how Srila Prabhupada, 30 years he was in India, nothing happened. Then he came to West. That was his Guru Maharaj Adesh to him, or service. He immediately came to West, and within 11 years, there were 108 temples worldwide. And here we are struggling to think even how to read Bhagavad Gita. Does that answer your question, Prabhu?
Yeah.
Any other question, Prabhu?
Yeah, but not today. Not now. Not now.
Harish, how about you?
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Harish.